Thank you, William. Appreciate that. Good day, everyone. I have to say, first and foremost, over the past 12 months, the IIS Hybrid Cloud Solutions team has absolutely seen an uptick in these same areas that you mentioned, and that the 451 research analysis has provided. So, along those lines, what we've really seen from our customers is an increase in the need to shorten the time to determine the best execution venue that they're looking for their hybrid cloud workloads, as well as making sure that they have the right tools from a cloud management platform perspective to now deal with the complexity around that multi-vendor, that multi-cloud environment that they have. But then more specifically, and you started talking to the last part of it, the last part of your presentation was around the IT automation tools, or what a lot of DevOps teams are referring to as desired state configuration management tools, and everything that falls in line with that to accelerate the transformation that folks are going through. But this is where we see most of, from a standpoint of the projects that we're involved in and the customers' desired business outcomes that they're looking for are really around accelerating the digital transformation. So that's kind of where we're going to take this conversation from here. But before we do, I just want to give you a little bit of background on IIS and who we are. We're a company that's actually been in business for 25 years and has really focused on delivering IT solutions, and got our start from a couple of passionate engineers that really helped revolutionize the trading systems for one of the world's largest brands in that financial services space. But more specifically, over the time since we've been in business, they've actually grown to become our biggest customer and longest standing customer. Where we've gone and where we've been along this journey in the past 25 years is really develop an incredible working relationship with companies like HP and VMware and Red Hat with their extensive portfolios. And we've done a lot of those systems integration, but more so over the past couple of years now, really evolving into a cloud services integrator on top of that, traditional IT systems integration work that we've done. And we've become a partner of AWS. We're, an AWS consulting partner, and more so have really transformed from, just focused on, let's just say, those solutions from those premier partners to a blend of wide variety of service offerings and products that our consulting and integration team actually implements for our customers. The good news is, over the 25 years, the one thing we've never lost is changing our heritage, and we maintain that technology heritage because we have an engineering to sales ratio of about 3 to 1. So you're dealing with a lot of technical folks as opposed to sales folks in this space, mostly focused on delivery. So now when you look at that consulting and integration practice that we have, these are the practice areas. There's about 6 of them that we focus on, obviously from IT infrastructure all the way through big data and hybrid cloud, which are I'll say the most recent investments that we've made in the past couple of years. But over the test of time, we've established a very hard, fast, and true delivery methodology and framework that comes into play in every engagement that we're involved in each one of these practice areas for our customers. And nothing more important than the project management office rigor that we have around delivering every project on time and on money, within budget for our customers. When you look at our value proposition, it's pretty clear and apparent as to what it is and the approach that we take for our customers. And it really revolves around a very simple theme. We take a vendor agnostic approach to help clients determine the best execution venue for their workload. So it's right in line with William and 451's analysis is, focused on in regards to the trends, not only through 2015, but moving forward into 2016. Customers have specific workloads and they're looking for the best place to park that workload and then have a multi-cloud environment, or, whether that's private and or public or combination. What we do then from the standpoint of the expertise and experience that we bring from the consulting and integration practice that we have for as long as we do, we then integrate those solutions on behalf of those customers. Sometimes we manage them, and we try to engineer and architect them to the point at which we're focused on those business outcomes that they're expecting, and most importantly, accelerate their time to value. That's what the best part of the best execution venue engagement that we perform is, because the net is people are looking to shorten the process that they have to go through in order to determine which vendor fits their needs most. So when you look at infrastructure as a service, desktop as a service, platform as a service, backup as a service, DR as a service. Those are all areas where you might want to consider different players in the game as opposed to being, all in with one provider, and that's where we can help you. So let's continue on that whole concept of a vendor-agnostic approach that really differentiates IIS from everybody else in the marketplace. And what it starts with for us and for our customers in these engagements, it's all around the app, right? It's all about the app. We try to understand the impact of the, I'll say from a business perspective, what the value chain is from the application, what it is that they're trying to do with that application, not only from a support perspective, but over time, and what the cloud strategy is in regard to, that particular company, but also relative to that particular app. We profile that application, we get into the granularity around the use case of that application, and then we get into documenting the technical requirements and pay strong consideration to the investments that, our clients have already made, and then understand from a standpoint of where we're going to go or where they're trying to go, right, from a roadmap perspective, is understand the services that they really want to create and evaluate, the execution challenges that they have getting this up and, operationalized. That's where we take the vendor agnostic approach. After we take the after we document all of these requirements and investments, and then as William said, we look at it from, an X as a service or an as a service model, and we determine what is that best platform, what is that best service provider, whether it be a cloud provider, whether it be public or private, or it could be a hybrid solution, and then we can integrate that. And we also take a look at the best execution venue from a cloud management platform perspective with a focus on automation. And I say with a focus on automation, and we're going to get into this in a minute a little deeper, because as you start to see more companies going down a DevOps path, there's more IT automation or desired state configuration management tools that are coming into play to support those developers, as opposed to the cloud management platforms that are put in place to support a lot of the folks in the lines of business that need to tap into different, IT services through the catalog that William was talking about. And then, leveraging the consulting and integration practice, we have those enablement services to implement it from our professional services resources to ensure the successful delivery of these projects. So now when you start to look at the big picture, it starts to get, convoluted. It starts to get overwhelming. You have an application. You need to determine whether it should be public or private. There's 550,000 VMware customers out there in the marketplace somewhere. So there's a natural attrition to try to figure out what to do about, leveraging the investment that they've made in VMware or get away from it. And there are other technologies that, are out in the marketplace that need to be evaluated. We can help you evaluate that. Whether you're looking to extend that value proposition from VMware or go against it and go down an OpenStack path, we can help you with that conversation and help you determine which makes most sense for you. If you're going to stay private and you want to build it and you want to put it in your own data center or in co-location or to a managed services provider, we can help you with programs that are in place from partners of ours like Rackspace or an IBM SoftLayer, or build it out on an HP, build it out on an HP infrastructure, but leveraging VMware software or even Red Hat software, because they have, companies like that have the full stack to build out private clouds. From a public cloud perspective, this is really where you get, where we get into a lot of best execution venue engagements to help customers determine, is AWS best for them, is Azure best for them, or is some VMware vCloud Air Network service provider best for them, based on, again, on that specific application or that workload. And you can't have any conversation at all around public, private, or hybrid cloud without taking networking and security and putting that first and foremost as a priority, and underneath all your governance that needs to be taken care of and, considered in this process. We have resources that have deep networking and security skills and experience and expertise relative to Cisco, Arista, HP networking, Palo Alto, DDoS detection and mitigation, encryption, et cetera, all the things that you need to consider when you're creating these hybrid cloud solutions. Now, up at the top of this, where you see kind of highlighted in the green box, you'll see that's the cloud management platform component of this that we specialize in, help customers understand which cloud management platform is best for them based on the investment that they have and based on where it is that they're going with all of these applications or all of these use cases out of all of these different cloud platforms. because once you start to look at, your environment, you start to realize that developers have a proclivity to put a certain application out on a certain public cloud, or a use case ended up on a certain public cloud. And then what you want to be able to do is start to control that environment, as William mentioned. You want to be able to provide them with a service catalog that gives them access to all of these types of resources as options, and become a cloud service broker in your own sense, and deliver real value by delivering IT as a service to the enterprise. These are the tools that our customers come to and ask us for the most help with, because there's a lot of them out there, and everybody that they've made existing investments in today typically offers a cloud management platform, like VMware, like Red Hat, like HP. But there's others out there like Scalar and RightScale that make sense for certain clients, and we help them figure that out. From an IT services organization orchestration perspective, people have that built into the cloud management platform, but there's companies like Cloudify that actually provide a universal orchestration engine that become very interesting and unique to the developers, especially the ones that are going down a DevOps path. Then from an operations and business management perspective, there are tools here that folks want access to from IT, I'll say executive management positions, and also on the business side of the house to be able to get a snapshot, scorecards of, the costs and, managing that infrastructure in real time, to be able to pull those reports so they can see, how they are working across all these disparate environments. This is what we do, right, from a practice standpoint at IIS, to be able to deliver clients to us, help them determine which is the best cloud management platform and which is the best execution venue for all of these workloads. The one that I didn't cover and I saved for last was specifically the IT automation or desired state configuration management tools. This is a growing area specifically with DevOps plays, companies that are looking at Chef or, Puppet, Ansible, SaltStack. There's a wide variety of them that are out there that are growing in, I'll say, the desire from these organizations to implement DevOps and to enhance their play around automation and gain control over all of these different endpoints that the developers need to have. So this is where we kind of bring our project management wrapper, our, design, deploy, operate, and governance capabilities to our customers around these types of engagements. So just to focus on a couple of these now, right? A couple of the specific engagements that we deal with our customers. Best execution venue, right? This is really evaluating the application, coming in and interviewing, understanding the SLAs and understanding the technical requirements, the governance and compliance challenges that you might have with deploying a workload anywhere around the world, because these platforms are global. And we use a proprietary tool set to help determine which is the best execution venue, which is the best cloud option. It's very simple in nature. Once the client is determined, or once we've helped the client determine the best execution venue, the other thing that they're now challenged with is, well, do I have the resources on staff? Do I have access to them in any way, shape, or form that can architect, design, and deploy these deals? That's where we come in from a standpoint of being able to deliver value from, an architectural design perspective, deploy it, and then provide the knowledge transfer back to our customers with either, what I would consider to be a knowledge transfer session or service delivery package that gives you everything that you need, everything that we've built. And what you're seeing there is, kind of an architecture of a deal that we've done for a client that actually had a very large big data solution and requirement to implement that on a global scale across 4 different availability zones within Amazon. And we actually built out environment for them across Asia Pac, EMEA, South America, and North America. So the enablement that these, these cloud platforms provide everyone, obviously, is to go global very easily, and that could all be done remotely. The last one I'm going to touch on is cloud management platform fit evaluation. I was kind of talking about that before when I was going through that one slide. And this is where we really help customers figure out, what vendor is the right vendor? What is the right solution? What is the right type of catalog I want to present? Is the catalog the most important to give them that app store-like experience? Or is it all the orchestration tools that are more important to get us to all the different endpoints that are really relevant? And even from a vendor agnostic perspective, some tools need to be considered more strongly than others. So this is where we kind of weigh that out and help customers get, what I would consider to be the analysis that they need in order to make a decision, whether it's VMware vRealize, HP Helion, Red Hat CloudForms, RightScale, Scalar, or even working your way into the IT automation tools, or, like I said before, desired state configuration management tools, Ansible, Chef, Puppet, SaltStack. So those are three of the primary engagements that we work to support our customers with, again, going back to the trends that we've seen accelerating in 2015 and even more so now in 2016. Here's a perfect example of cloud management platform and kind of the work that we do with a customer to help them figure all of this out, right? We'll focus on the services catalog. What needs to be put into the services catalog? To whom are you going to be delivering that services catalog to? And then look at the resources and the services that are already part of those existing investments that the organization has made. But then more so, what services are they considering? What platforms are they considering that need to be part of all of this? And then from a standpoint of the orchestration that needs to be taken into consideration to get you where you need to be in order to operationalize all of those services, this is where IIS provides its greatest value to our customers after we've helped them figure out which platform makes the most sense for them. So now in closing, what I'll say is, I'll say why IIS? First and foremost, when you look at the first bullet here, you can see that, the stuff that we've been talking about and that we see our customers dealing with over the past year or two, and now more so as 2016 trends, come into realization. We help them eliminate market complexity and confusion because there's a lot going on here, and it's getting more and more complicated, especially with some of the DevOps movements and plays that are in play. So eliminating that market complexity and confusion is probably most important for us to communicate to our customers and to our potential customers. And then if you look at the last bullet here, you'll see that the process that we're able to run our customers through and then get them what it is that they need, what we're doing for them is accelerating their time to value because we're minimizing the investment of time, energy, effort, and resources and interviews that you need to go through with all of these vendors. Because of the relationships that we have, because of the skill sets that we have in-house, we're able to bring them all together for you and run you through a process literally, in some cases, even with some Fortune 500 companies, as literally as fast as a week or two to get them on the phone, to get you an understanding of the differentiation between all of them, and then go back out in a couple of weeks and scorecard them all based on your specific requirements, and then make a recommendation to you, and then give you the opportunity to make that decision and then move forward with potentially implementation of it. At the end of the day, though, what we really feel all of this does is it really empowers IT with intelligent resource management and delivers real value to not only to IT, but in essence and inherently back to the business. So that's the end of my piece, and I know we're going to get into some questions that have come in. What I'd like to do is ask all of you if you have any additional questions, want to know a little bit more about IIS, please visit our website at www.iisl.com/cloud. If you want to reach out to me directly, feel free to call IIS at 877-704-4001. Or if you're interested in more information about William's piece on best execution venue, we have a brief on our website that you could go to by visiting our website, and you'll see it down the bottom, or you could go directly to the URL that's posted here, http://bit.ly/1NDOJPC. So that's the end of our presentation. It's time for questions. William, I want to turn it back over to you.
You mentioned managed cloud services. Can you expand a little further on that and what you mean by that and what it means for your customers?
Sure. So there's actually been a couple of customers that we dealt with where they have needs relative to some of the specific use cases that they've looked at for public cloud. One of them specifically was that they needed to provide a particular platform for a line of business that they wanted to be able to have what I would call scalable infrastructure to support a web application and some network connectivity that this organization wasn't prepared for, and it was going to need to sit outside the four walls of their data center. So we worked with them to help them basically use an infrastructure as a service model, and then for ongoing support, not only did we set up all of the firewalls, the load balancers, the build out the VMs, the customer loaded their own applications. What we did from, and I'll say a day two operations perspective, was to then put our monitors into that environment and then pull all those logs and manage that infrastructure as a service for that client, as well as put monitors on the application so we could, inform the customer that there might be a problem with the application itself. So we actually support workloads in public clouds for customers where we're managing the entire thing after we've stood it up. Also, another example of that is customers that are starting to look at what I'll call a cheap and cheerful DR as a service for applications that go beyond their tier one applications that, they need to make serious disaster recovery investments in, right? Having a separate co-location facility or having a separate data center for those tier one apps that they need to recover in an instance. They start to now have the option to look at DR as a service for some of those other applications, but look at the models that are in the marketplace where they could fail over to a public cloud and, and actually fail over and restore on that public cloud. So you can replicate out to storage and then reinstantiate all of those virtual machines on that public cloud provider's infrastructure as a service when you need to. But, customers have the challenge of setting up all of the networking and taking care of the run books and providing support in regards to the ongoing quarterly tests. So that's stuff that we're doing for our clients as well. So there's a variety of different aspects to this. Some of them, I wouldn't call it managed services. I'd call it more administrative services, where we might have actually stood up their AWS environment, and now they've actually hired someone to care and provide the care and feeding for it. If that's the case, that's fantastic. But sometimes they'll look back to us to actually provide ongoing support where their developers might need, a new environment built out. They'll need infrastructure built out, and where they don't have the resource on staff to do that stuff all the time to the existing environment, they can turn to us, and on a project basis, we'll go in there and build it out for them. So, some customers call that a managed service, but to me, it's more of an administrative support service.
There's another question just coming on. Maybe David wants to pick up on this one. What are the common decision factors customers face in terms of transitioning to cloud rather than going, rather than on premise? What are the arguments, David? Are there some general things that you could offer the audience here, across different vertical markets and so on?
Absolutely. I know one that jumps to a lot of people's, the forefront of their minds is really cost. But at the end of the day, what we really see is agility and speed, time to market, especially when you start talking about, the focus of what's going on with customers and the disruption that's happening in a variety of marketplaces. So it's the need to get an application out to the customer to change that customer experience to create differentiation. So cloud becomes a very important part of the process to accelerate the speed of those applications getting out to those customers to enhance that customer experience. It's not so much the cost, because what it's going to do, or what's going to replace that cost, is really going to be the fact that now they can generate more revenue or more profitable revenue by getting that customer experience enhanced. So cost is always important, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's that speed, agility, and time to market, right? That's the business outcome that a lot of customers that we see. The other one that I would say, when you start to look at those decision factors, is the resources that they have within their own organization. Do you want to be in the infrastructure business? Do you want to keep buying hardware? Do you want to keep buying software? Do you want to keep spending time training the resources that you have within your organization to get them ramped up time and time again as all this technology changes? Or do you want to just put it on the service provider and have a partner like IIS, who's an integrator, just implement it for you and potentially manage it? So that's really what we see. And then at the end of the day, they could take a look at the cost and then try to manage it, ongoing. And that's always a challenge. But with all of the tools that we can provide with Cloud Management Platform, you're going to get the visibility into that, and then leveraging cloud service brokerage capabilities, make those decisions afterwards without having to do a whole re-architecting and redesign of what it is that you've invested in. So, William, I think we're at the top of the hour. We're going to have to shut down now. So any other questions,
so listen,
please feel free to send them in. Thank you, everyone.